Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for today's Research and Innovation Training Institute. Today, we have the head of Reference and Information Services at Prairie View A&M University's John B. Coleman Library. And our guest is starting a new chapter with her election to the executive board of PVAMU, which is the International Library and Information Studies Honor Society. We are excited about what we're offering today because as we approach the summer months, we know that many of you have summer research projects that you're working on, and we thought what better way to support you than to have someone who can provide information to help you get organized and understand what all of the resources are here at the John B. Coleman Library. Please join me in welcoming Kimberly Gay.
Hello, everybody. We're going to get started, and I'm going to request that we're not on our cell phones. We're actually on something where we can walk through some of the web pages that I'm going to show you, because I love to do things that's interactive. So I want to make sure that everybody is on an operable computer, that we have the aspect of looking at everything from the library's perspective. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen with everybody. And I would highly recommend, I'm a teacher by heart. So what does that mean? I would highly recommend for you to have a Word document open, and all of these beautiful things I'm going to show you, you're going to be able to take notes right beside it. And I would highly recommend for you to, if you're not on a dual screen, to split your screen so you can have your Word document on one side and the actual screen that I'm showing you on this side. And then I also will put this link in the chat. Let me put this in the chat for everybody too, so you can get onto this page, because this page is a culmination of what I have been building with the Research Innovation Department. So you can actually look back at other presentations that I've done as well, with specificity to some of the things that we're going to talk about today. So I love this to be interactive. So I want to make sure that everybody is at least on this library guide page. Do I need to wait? Do we need to go back again? Is everybody clicked on the link that was put into the chat so we can be able to have everybody on this page? I guess since it's quiet, we're ready to go. Okay, so what we're going to do is click on this link for the one that says Research Collaboration Showcasing the John B. Coleman Library's Resources. So what are we doing today? What am I putting together for you to even look at doing today? I'm going to put this one in chat as well, because today I want to get your mind framed to say, I'm going to be doing this research, and I want to have a one-stop place that I can look at. How do I articulate the library's resources? And a one-stop place for the summer, where you won't have to ask, you won't have to Google anything. It'll literally actually be here on this web page. So as you scroll down, you're looking at showcasing, and these are the things I'm going to run through and showcase with you on what we're doing and how we're pulling together all of these John B. Coleman Library resources. So without specificity to what your subject area is or what you're researching, I'm going to cover the whole gamut. And I'm going to, again, get your mind framed, to look at, if I was doing research this summer, what are all of those things that I want to have? What is all of that information that I want to be able to notice and look at? So this is what I'm pulling together for you right here. So the first thing is the library databases. Again, if you're on your own computer, thank goodness that you're not on a phone, because sometimes phones won't let you see all of this. Click on the link that says Databases A to Z. We're going to start from that very first one. The Databases A to Z. And I know that you probably have looked at this database, looked at this list of databases, but you're going to look at it in a research capacity. So what does Ms. Gay mean by that? You're going to look at it to come here to where it says all subjects. Okay, we have over 200, almost 300 plus databases, but you want to gather right here to go to all subjects because you're doing research with a certain area. This is your all subject area. So if I was coming down and I want to look at doing research and I'm looking at saying that I want to look at research and I want to do a grant on something with education. I'm going to click on education, and here are my 51 databases that are related to some aspect of education. And if you've already got a search query together, you can actually take the time to look at all of these different databases and plug in that search query. So this is what I get excited about it showing is that you're now looking at summer research, and now you got the opportunity to research it by your subject area. So any of my faculty out there that's looking at doing research, in the computer science, here are databases related to computer science, and you're able to come in and look at these databases that are related to computer science, so whatever your genre, the subject area that you're doing, come here first, because this starts you off on that pathfinder to finding the best articles that you can be able to have for your search strategy. And once you're inside any of these articles, you're just going to click on the database, or once you're inside the database, you're going to click on the database. Again, you can pick and choose the different databases you want to look at. I always like to be greedy and look at all of them. So I'll do select and I'll hit continue. And then this is where I can always go to advanced search. I like advanced search because I'm able to manipulate my words. So I can do all my keyword searching in here. I can come down and say, I want them in full text. I want them peer reviewed. I only want them within the last 5 years or the last 10 years, but publication types. I just want to look at newspapers. I just want to look at periodicals, which could mean those journals. Document type. I just want to look at an article. Or do you want to just look at abstracts? Or do you want to look at editorial pieces? Then the language, what language do you want to look at it in? And then moving on, what are the publication types on it? You can look at any one of the different databases and choose your options wisely. So now you can start looking at your research and looking at those scholarly articles. So before I move on to the next segment, does anybody have any questions about my first one that talks about the A to Z listed databases? And now what you're going to do is you're going to go to this section that says all subject areas. Because again, with specificity, what area you're going to be researching the most in, so you can find it by the subject area so it can lend itself to the books that you would like to have. Do I have any questions about this? Do I need to slow down? Please let me know if I need to slow down. I can talk for the rest of the afternoon about all this good stuff. So let me know if I need to slow down. Does anybody have any questions about just the A to Z databases and looking at it from the subject angle? How we doing? And again, you can put your questions in chat because Ms. Cotton is going to be able to fill out those questions and let me know when there's a question that comes up. If not, let's move on. So we're going to move on to the next segment that I want to share with you. And the next segment is good. Thank you, Ms. Cotton. Please add your questions to the chat. The next one is another favorite of mine, is the e-journals. So I'm going to take a deep breath and I'm going to share with you that going through the databases, you're actually looking for the vendors who house these articles. And then you're able to go in and take the time now to look at the e-journals. So this is where I call it, this is where it gets diabolically good. okay? This is where it gets diabolically good because you're clicking on this link and you're going here to where it says eJournals. So what does this mean? If you are doing research and you've been loving this journal that you're constantly looking at, you can look at the entire journal and you can look at the entire collection of that journal. And it's right here in our EJournal portal. So I can click on eJournals. And then once I click on eJournals, because again, you're doing this level of research for the summertime, I can go by browse subjects. That's the first thing I want to look at is browse subjects. And I want to see all the different subject areas that I know that I will be looking at getting. So if I'm wanting a grant and I'm looking at a grant and I'm looking at adult education. So I'm looking a lot of this is more or less in the community development, looking at adult education and continuing education, but I'm thinking about working on a grant on that. The library has 192 publications. Literally, that means journals. The titles of the journals all deal in some aspect of adult education. So if I'm wanting to click on this link, I can click on this link and go straight into aspects of the full text. So I can click on Academic Search Complete. It will now bring up all the information related to this journal. And this is where, guys, I say this is getting diabolically good because I know that I want to look at this journal, but then I've got all of these issues. And look, it goes back to the 1990s. And I can come in here and look at it by volume, by issues, and look and see all of these wonderful articles. And then I can even search within the publication if I'm wanting to do adult education, but I'm looking at continuing ed, or I'm looking at issues dealing in AD, attention deficit order and adult education. I can search within the entire publication aspect of it. And then another thing is for my researchers that are also wanting to publish, you can actually click on this link and it links you to the publisher. So one of the things is sometimes, let me go back again, because sometimes that diagnostic doesn't come through, but it links you through to the publisher. So I'll go back and I'll look at another one that's going to link us into that publisher. Because one thing that I like is for my researchers who are getting ready to look at doing any type of journal research. Okay, excellent. Here we go. So I'm going to put in my location because Sage is all over the world. United States, and set it. So here is the entire surge information. And I'm looking at researchers, book authors, and editors. Once again, guys, this is why I'm telling you about how that EJournal portal, don't sleep on it. Please don't sleep on that EJournal portal, because that EJournal portal, if you're even looking at getting something published, you can come here to book authors and editors, and Sage Publication will tell you what they're looking for, how they're looking for it. What are some of the things that you need to be aware of if you want to submit your article to Sage Publication? And again, we drill through the EJournal portal, and I'll come back to it. We drilled through the EJournal portal and we looked at the information related to it. And one of the things that I love to do, and Dr. Booker loves it as well, is Dr. Booker's, one of Dr. Booker's favorite journals is the Reading Teacher. So we can literally come in and look at all of these journals that relate to Reading Teacher and formulate what articles we want to come out of the Reading Teacher, or what articles we would love to look at from the Reading Teacher. So as I was sharing, please do not sleep on this EJournal portal, and I'll show you what that looks like again, because please do not sleep on this EJournal portal, because you've got the aspect of looking at an entire collection of those journal articles, then also clicking on that link like we did and looked at Sage and looked at how would you even submit an article to Sage if you wanted to have a publication done. So that's again in that EJournal portal section that we're looking at right here. And all of this is related back to that LibGuide that I created. So I'll click on that link And again, that's the LibGuide that I created. And here's that EJournal portal where I was saying about browse by subject areas. Then you're connecting with the journal publishers for their publications and even how to publish in those journals as well. So don't sleep on the EJournal portals, because that's your gateway to looking at an entire collection of a journal's articles online. The next one we're going to do. How are we doing? Everybody good? Again, just tell me to slow down if I need to, because I definitely will slow down, because there's a lot of good stuff that I can show you. The next one on here is our Refworks. And this is what literally gets students crying. When I'm showing Refworks to them, I actually start seeing a tear come down their little face, because Refworks is your research cloud. You don't have to email the articles to yourself anymore. You don't have to even worry about citations anymore, because it'll build those citations. So I'm going to click on this link for Refworks. And if you don't already have a Refworks account, please see where it says create an account. Come back to this after this session is over. Come back and create your account. But I'm going to show you, I'm going to sign in, and I'm going to show you the magic of Refworks. So you're in those databases of EBSCOhost or ProQuest, and you're able to populate your articles. So you're able to take and populate all of your articles. Like I've already populated some articles, but you're able to populate your articles that you got from your EBSCOhost or from ProQuest. You're able to populate all of these articles into your Refworks account. So then now you don't have to email this to yourself. It actually is in your research cloud. Then you can create your own research folders like I have of all of these reference articles. But the real magic, everybody, comes in when I can come here where it says create bibliography, and I can create a bibliography. I can then move to say that I want, and of course, an APA 7th edition. But guys, if I'm working with a group and I want to show my group my articles, and I want to be able to have my group to look at even the annotations, do you know Refworks will even put it in an annotation form for me so I can share with my group that way they can read the first abstract of each one of these articles. And I'm only using the annotation part to share with groups or even to help me out, because I know when I do my own annotated bibliography, and like I share with the students, the professor already has the questions that they want you to answer for your annotated bibliography. But this is a great way if you're working within a group and you're going to want to share this information within your other group of researchers, you can share that annotation and you can have them to look at just the abstract of these articles. And then that way you can come back to say, which of these articles do you think we should dive deeper into? Which one do you want us to use in our grant proposal or in our research proposal that we have? And then here's what it makes Refworks so nice is that when you look at the fact that you can come here to do share. So I'm going to click on this link and it actually scrolls down and I can actually do a share. That means that I'm going to be able to share one of my folders. So I can come here and share one of these folders and email it to everybody. That's another thing I like about Refworks. It will allow me to share my folder of all my articles to the rest of my collaborators or my researchers in my group. It also, if you come here, go to the add section, it allows me to create a reference. So as I share with my freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors, there's no need to do that citation machine because you can actually build your entire citation in Refworks because it's going to ask you, is it a journal article? Is it an abstract? Is it a book? And then it literally will ask you to give you all the information for it. It'll give it all the information, and then you can go ahead and create your own references to materials that you didn't even know what the reference was. So that's another feature that I like about Refworks. The third feature I like about Refworks is tools. Okay, so with the tools section, you know we're going to be looking at, I'm going to click on tools, because with tools, I want to go straight to tools. And here are some of these tools that you can download on your own computer and your own device that can be helpful for you, because Refworks allows you to download these software components. One is called the Right Site, where you can download the Right Site and it literally mirrors, or it populates and helps you populate information dealing from your Word document of the actual document that you're working on. So I know that, around this time, it's really slow on campus with the server. So eventually, if it does come up, it has those tools where you can download onto your computer that can allow you to do more features that will help you with your research papers. So does anybody have any questions about Refworks? How are we doing? I know I love Refworks. It is a magical place that students have come to and they really enjoy, because they can populate their articles into the databases and literally be able to have them in APA, M.L.S, Chicago Turabian style, and that's in Refworks. You can also click on this link, Guide for Using Refworks, and here's all the information related to Refworks. Like if you wanted to know, how did Ms. Gay populate her articles into Refworks, there's these wonderful handouts. There's some YouTube videos on it as well. So I added that component to the LibGuide for you. Then we move on. So connecting with a professional reference and instruction library, we're here. We're boots on the ground the entire summer. The librarians are actually working. We work Monday through Saturday. And we work till 9 o'clock Monday, Monday through Friday through Thursday. We work on Saturdays 8 to 5. We work on Sundays 8 to 5. We work on Saturdays 8 to 5, and we're closed on Sundays. But you've got access to us through live chat. You can actually come here, do a live chat with us. If you're out somewhere doing a research and you need some quick information about something, or does the library have this, you can do a live chat with us and click on that link. And if you type in, you're actually going to get a response back from one of the librarians, because we're the ones who are here taking care of the live chat. So keep in mind that you've got the live chat. Then you got our LibGuides. So here are all of our LibGuides. They're by type. You can go by a type of a LibGuide. You can go by a subject of a LibGuide. You can even go by an owner of a LibGuide. Okay, so here's all our LibGuides. And what are LibGuides? LibGuides are library resources that we condensed into one area, and it's like a niche. And this is the reason why I love LibGuides, because they create a niche. There's a LibGuide on just African American studies. There's LibGuides dealing in Army and Navy. There's LibGuides, dealing on aerospace. So each one of these LibGuides areas, with specificity, is a LibGuide on that topic area. Like here's one of my LibGuides on food systems in Panama. Oh, I love doing this LibGuide, even though it took me a couple of days, but it was a LibGuide where the students were looking at food systems in Panama. So they needed journal articles. They needed to know which databases to look at. They needed all of this plethora of information that can be helpful. They needed even YouTube videos that talk about the Panama Canal, and talk about interesting aspects of Panama. So when you look at what these LibGuides are these niche subject areas that the librarians have put together. So if you are on the LibGuide page and you don't see a LibGuide that's related to you, let's look and see if the reference librarian, who's your liaison person, can build you a LibGuide of just resources for you. Because I've done that before for faculty who want just a LibGuide with all of their resources on it. And it turns out really nice, because I'm able to put in their articles that they've done, give them the link, and then they're able to share that link with also their students as well. So this is a LibGuide section that's very nice to have. And if you don't see from the subject areas you don't see anything that could be related of what you're doing, let's work with that reference librarian who's the liaison to your area about putting a LibGuide together. Okay, how are we doing? Anybody got any questions so far? I know I'm speeding through this, and again, everything is really based off of this LibGuide that I created. And all I'm doing as a librarian is just showing you the pathfinder to this information. And I'm going to allow about 10 minutes at the end to take any further questions if you got any. Next thing we're going to look at is liaison support. So remember how I was saying that if you are not aware of who your librarian is or who is your liaison person, this is an excellent place to go to, is your liaison support staff. So you can come here, go to your college. So if you're in the College of Business, you're going to look to see that Ms. Henderson is your collection development person, and she's also your instruction librarian. So with having those both entities, you can contact her and say, hey, I'm interested in having a LibGuide on the research that I'm doing. Can you help me compile a LibGuide on the research that I'm doing? Just, informational stuff that I need, again, with this niche on my subject area. So if you're not sure about who your librarian is or your liaison librarian, you can literally come here to this link and start looking at all of the librarians in that area. And what makes it nice is now you have, a sidekick. Seriously, you have a sidekick that can help you, when you're trying to struggle with what databases, when you're trying to struggle with how to get to some of the online resources, that you've got that librarian who's like, your partner in an aspect that can help you find all of these resources. And what makes it nice is they know that niche because they either have a bachelor's degree in it or they've got a master's degree in it. So they're fully aware of that niche that you're looking for. And then what articles you need to go with it. So we're going to move on. The next one on here is research support. I actually data dumped all of the research that you would be needing to look at, from the writing center here at Prairie View to the citation styles that you would look at. Here is that link. And it shows you information about the writing center. It shows you information about finding material in our library. It looks at copyright and plagiarism issues as well. Then it gives the citations tools. Here is that Refworks. Here's that ProQuest link to get into. And then it has different versions of the M.L.A, APA, Chicago style. Then at the end, it has more information about help if you still need further help. So as Ms. Gay is showing you this LibGuide, this becomes your one-stop area to all the information that if you're doing summer research, you can come here and plant yourself and be really participatory in all the things that we're showing you on how to do. The next one is library remote access. If you have not ever got to any of the library resources from off campus, you're going to definitely have to know how to do this because that's based off of your username and the password you get into any of the computers on campus and especially our library databases. So I had to put in that information about accessing from home because that's really pivotal in some of the things that we're doing. And you want to make sure that you know how to get into it with that unique username and password that will allow you to put all of this together. So this is one of the reasons why I wanted to share this with y'all. And we're going to go on to the next one, which is Interlibrary Loan. And I know sometimes we might not have the book. We might not have the journal. And a reason why we might not have the journal is that either we don't have it in an online version, but it could be in a physical version. So if we've got some journals that are still left in a physical version, we're not going to have a lot of them in the same ones in an online version. So sometimes you might have to do an interlibrary loan, where you would actually click on the link for Interlibrary Loan and be able to go into Interlibrary Loan. And what you would do is order your books from here. So I'm clicking in, here is my user information, my information that I need to get into Interlibrary Loan. And this is such an easy step to just put in the author's name, the title of the book, publication, ISBN number, if you have that available, and then look at when you need this by to get your Interlibrary Loan material. And it could be print, it could even be electronic as well. But this is a place that you can really find that Interlibrary Loan material and be able to put that into here. So even as you're working and going through the databases, and I'm going to say this with emphasis, no Google scholaring, because by the time you get into Google Scholar and you find this wonderful article you want, it's going to ask you to pay for it when you could have just gone to that A to Z listed databases, found it in the database where it's already paid for from the library side that we have the subscription for it. But if you do find something that we physically don't have in our library, you can do your Interlibrary Loan and be able to put that information into this area. And they do it for books. So, you know, this is the one that I did for books, but you could do it from a journal article, government publications, conferences and proceedings. If you were at a conference or proceeding and you know that they had some documents, Interlibrary Loan, see if you can get an actual copy of the conference proceedings and see if that will help you with your research endeavors. And we're going to go back to the LibGuide that I created. And we're hitting the halfway mark. So does anybody have any questions so far? How are we doing? Do I need to slow down? I know I've got a lot of information to cover. So I just want to make sure that if I've lost somebody along the way, to please let me know where I need to come back in again and get you up to speed. How are we doing?
No questions so far.
Excellent. I wanna also present, since I'm at the halfway mark, I also want to find out from the audience, is there anything in particular that you would like for me to cover that I haven't covered so far? Does anybody have one of those dying things that they're wanting to know something about, you know, with the information in the library and I haven't covered it yet, or something that you really would like to see how we could do this? You know, does anybody have any questions related to that or comments?
This will be a great opportunity to use your own research as the example.
So does anybody want to use their own research as an example, and how would you go about doing the research with it? Anybody want to share at this midway point? Okay, we'll go on. So we're moving on. And next thing I want to show you is reserving a room. So here we have these links that if you want to work in collaborative work with someone, you can share room 108. You know, there's 508 and there's 207C. So if you want to look to say, hey, you know, let us all meet and do some research this summer and let us all come to the library, this could be an excellent place that you could come in the library and reserve a room area to concentrate more on some collaborative work. So this is one area that I showed for the reserver room. Then the other area I showed is this one. This is really unique. So say, for instance, you are working on a project with your group and you want to have everybody to do some online searching, or y'all are all going to work together collaboratively to look at do some research. You can reserve our computer lab that's dedicated just for our reference instruction classes. But if we're not teaching a class during the summer, during the time that you need it, you can reserve this room as well. And it has 30 computers. It has a beautiful screen that you can see, that you can be able to project out your information on it. And so this is another collaborative space that everybody can work and enjoy doing some research with. So this is another area that I knew I wanted to show you, was how to reserve rooms. Both of these can become very important Because if you're wanting to get together and not be in your office or not be in somebody else's office, but you still want to have a quiet space and do some collaboration, you can also reserve rooms in the library as well. And there's the online forms for it. The next one on here, I tell you what, this is my child. Okay. And the reason why I want to share this with you is that this is a journey that I've been on with the provost, Dr. Palmer, Dr. Sneed Green, Faculty Senate, the Academic Integrity Council, and their aspects of wanting to have some type of academic integrity workshop. Now, during the summer, because we don't get a lot of responses because of the classes, we get more responses to do the workshops in the fall and in the spring. But during the summer, you can request what's called our academic integrity workshop class, because it comes with it an actual academic integrity certification. So what does Ms. Gay mean by this? So you're working in your groups and you want to just look at some aspects of PV's academic integrity. Now, mind you, this is geared toward undergraduate and graduate students. We've taught within a year's time, we've taught 158 classes. I mean, that's almost averaging out to every other day we're teaching these classes. So this has really become something that I've worked with Faculty Senate, worked with Dr. Palmer in academic affairs to come up with something that we could do as professional librarians, because we're already aware of this. We already know the value of looking at plagiarism issues, looking at citation issues, looking at, PV's honor code and academic dishonesty. So I share this with everybody. If you're working in a group and you're doing your level of research and you just want to get abreast, I'll put it like that, get abreast or get more information about what is truly academic integrity, work with us so you can go through this workshop. It's an online workshop. It's live. It's very interactive. And we start looking at PV's integrity and what does PV have for its academic integrity. Then we click over and we go into the academic integrity website. So this is PV's academic integrity website. And we're going through again, PV's honor code, PV's affirmation. It's not just for the undergraduate and graduate students, it's also for us to keep that honor code, to keep that, that honor affirmation statement. Then we keep going, and I even get you to do the academic integrity module. Okay, and it's an excellent module where you complete the module. And once you complete the module, it's going to ask me for all of my passwords and usernames and Da Vinci codes and all of that stuff. So for those who have never seen this, let me go ahead and put this in so you can see how nice this certificate is. And the certificate is your academic integrity certificate. So you go through the module, and the module is no more than 3 to 5 minutes, and you get a chance to view your certificate. And what I love, ladies and gentlemen, is that faculty love giving this to their students and having their students to take the academic integrity module with us, with the librarians, and then they've asked the students to email them their certification that they completed the academic integrity, that they actually went through the steps and completed what PV is looking for in an academic integrity student, faculty, or staff. So from this angle, you've got that aspect that you can go into the academic integrity workshop with us and get a chance to look at all of these wonderful things that talk about the value of how you're actually doing your research and what exactly constitutes good research that you can be able to have. Other things that I like about this session that we do for academic integrity, and I'm going to click on that link and get back into it again. Other things I like about the academic integrity workshop is that it allows you the opportunity that if you're not sure about plagiarism issues and you need just a little nudge, and I'll put it like that, If you need just a little nudge about what are plagiarism issues, we've got a great video that showcases plagiarism issues. Then we have a quiz. You see, I said that. Then we have an actual plagiarism quiz that you actually go through and take. And yes, we get the students to take the quiz. They email us the quiz results. We forward that email to the professor who asked them to take the course with us. So you get a chance to look at how you even understand the value of plagiarism. And it's a beautiful quiz that outlines, almost 20 questions that ask you those avenues about, what is considered not, aspects of, everybody's knowledge. Like everybody knows that the sun is yellow or that the sky is blue, those common knowledge aspects. What is something that you would have to cite? What is something that you would not have to cite? The great thing I like about it is that this Turnitin plagiarism quiz allows you that opportunity to get, brush up on what do you think is actually plagiarism, and it gives you those aha moments. Because I love sharing with the students when they're taking the quiz that they get flabbergasted and understanding those aha moments to their actual plagiarism issues that they were having, and those aspects of like, conspiracy, cheating, aspects of how you cheat and cell phone cheating. So this is one area of just this beautiful academic integrity workshop that we pull off and put together. And what makes it nice again is that you're able to go in and you're able to see what Preview is talking about when they talk about academic integrity. And I'll share this with everybody. Yes, it was vetted. I had to have it vetted by Dr. Palmer and the academic affairs. Dr. Sneed Green vetted it with me. Then all the faculty senate vetted it with me. Then I had to meet with all of the deans. And this is during the pandemic, we're putting this together. I met with all the deans during Zoom meetings and showed them this so they can be able to go back to their colleges and their schools, in their departments and share this with their faculty. And it's only been up and running for a year, but we've gotten 160 classes that we've done dealing in this, and we can do it for one person or we can do it for 101 persons because it's all an online aspect that you're looking at. And another segment in it is, it has information about the library. I've got to put a plug in there about the library and some of the things that can be helpful with information dealing with the library. So I wanted to make sure that I showed everybody this because it's important for you to understand that in this LibGuide that I created, this section right here that talks about the academic integrity workshop, it could be something that maybe your group might need to do, might need to come in and do a workshop on this. So don't sleep on it. Again, I told you not to sleep on the EJournal portals. This is another one don't sleep on. Don't sleep on the online workshop that we have for academic integrity. The next one is if you want to download the library app, and you can click on this link, and it's actually on the homepage of the library down at the bottom, and it's our library app. So what does that app do? It's a quick way for you to download it on your phone and be able to look at, do we have certain books in our collection? What collections do we have? It's like an online catalog of our library in an app form. So that could be another interesting thing that you can add to your repertoire of the things that you'll want to do for the summer. Another one is make an appointment. You can click on this link and make an official appointment with one of us. Do a consultation with us. And this is how you can do that. You can consult with us individually. You can consult with us through like a research class. You can email one of us. But, I had to put this one in here just so I let everybody know that you're not alone. There's always a connection to a librarian that can be helpful for you. Then I put in the hours of the library. So you're familiar with the hours of the library. And then these last two are my takeaways, my jewels that I want to make sure that as y'all are doing research, don't forget about these two databases. The first one is Pivot. And Pivot is that research funding one. So you know that you've got to be able, if you want to get onto Pivot, you got to make sure to register while you're on campus at Prairie View, but you're going to click on this link. And if you're already registered, it's just going to ask you for your username and password. So I'm going to click into it with my username and password. Let's make sure my password is correct. Sometimes it doesn't allow certain passwords in. So with Pivot, it actually takes you through a section where you're looking at all of your research funding endeavors. So you're able to look at how many places are doing certain researches in your capacity, and what types of research are they doing, and that allows you to see who's coming up with new research. What kind of research are they doing? Where is this research, elaborating from? So I'm going to go ahead and pull this up. Let me see if I can get to it. Here we go. So I'm going to pull this in. Let's see if it'll let me do my password now. Oh. Let's see if it'll let me in my password now. Oh, perfect. So here's what I get excited about Pivot is because search for funding. If I'm looking at stuff dealing in library and technology and see what type of funding, see what type of grants that are out, there's 141 of them. Super yummy, guys, because I'm actually looking at stuff about internships, Beta PVAMU awards, hint, hint, that's where I'm an e-board member of, so again, you've got this great collaboration and it tells you when the due dates are, and what even goes into you looking at that funding, so again, I'll say this, do not sleep on Pivot because it literally is another great place that you can look at finding any types of funding that's going on. And what I like about Pivot is that you're allowed that opportunity that you get to search within subject areas. You're able to look at subject areas, browse funding, A to Z. So you're actually able to look at within subject areas. You can actually type in a subject area up here just to see what's listed. And then it's by non-US government and US government sites as well. And this is up to date. And then you get it international. So if you're looking and you want to collaborate with somebody in Australia or United Kingdom, you can actually look here and see if there's any types of collaborations that you can do with somebody internationally as well. So as Ms. Gay shares this with you, don't sleep on Pivot because Pivot also is an excellent place that you want to start looking at funding opportunities if you haven't got to that yet. But keep in mind with Pivot, you've got to go ahead and register while you're on campus so you can be able to use Pivot while you're off campus. That is I will call that the booger bear. That's the booger bear with Pivot. It's got to make sure that you are a bona fide, current student, faculty, or staff member on the campus to register. And then once you register, you can look at it from any type of internet smart device that you have. So I wanted to make sure that y'all knew about Pivot because it's just another resource that you could have to look at. And it's constantly updated. So the last thing I'll leave you with is Scopus. Okay. And the reason why I wanted to show you Scopus is that you want to start gathering up what's already been doing, what's been going on at PV. You know what I'm saying? So when I go back, I'm going to pull this up. I want to look and see, well, what's been going on with PV? What are some of the things in Scopus that I can look at that I can see, who's been doing what? You know what I'm saying? Who's been doing what? And how do I get to that? I'm going to click on affiliations. Once I click on affiliations, I'm going to type in Prairie View, A&M University. And then once I click on Prairie View, A&M University, I'm going to go back again. Once I put in the Prairie View and do the A&M University part of it, then I'm going to be able to look at, what are we doing? What are some of the research endeavors that PV is doing, that PV is actually pulling together and showcasing out. And let me pull this up. Let's see. There's a couple of variations of Prairie View, so we're gonna make sure we get all the variations of Prairie View. Oh, here we go. This is how they say it. Okay, so again, I want to look at who's been doing what in other departments. Do I have somebody in another area that's doing research in an area that I'm looking at? Because again, this summer, you got time to do that collaboration with them. So here is the affiliation details for Prairie View. And these are all the other names associated with Prairie View that when you look into Scopus, you can use these other names. So if I'm in engineering and I want to see, who's all been doing what in engineering? When is the last things that they've done? And look at this. I love this. Somebody just did an article this year, this year at Prairie View, working alongside others, did an article, that I could get with these authors and say, hey, I saw that you're doing, research on SARS and again in COVID, and in water bodies. I would love to tag on to this. I would love to see, what other abstracts you're looking at, view the abstract. I would love to see, where I can fit into this and something that I'm looking at research and doing. Then here are the authors' names, and here's a lot of the names. There's Akajobi's in here, there's Ping in here, there's Dr. Zhang in here, so again, you got literally all of the authors, the big authors in engineering from Prairie View that have done articles that's in Scopus. Because again, I want to see, well, who on my campus, because we all know you don't have to reinvent the wheel. We all know that there's other, scientists, researchers that we can go out to say, hey, I'm looking at doing something even with nursing. I'm looking at doing something in nursing, and I want to know who are all the faculty who's doing a lot of articles within nursing, and who's published recently, and saying, hey, I would love to merge your nursing with some aspects of mechanical engineering or chemical engineering. You never know these hybrids and this synergy of research you could have by coming into Scopus and just seeing what's going on your campus. What's going on Prairie View? What are some of the articles? Who are the big authors in it? And then who's the percentage? Who does the most? And we know that engineering, of course, does the most, but who does the most in each one of these research areas as well? So you can be able to come in and say, I want to work with somebody in another area. So that's why I wanted to show you Scopus. Now you can drill down and use Scopus as an articulated database, but where I find the most of the energy, especially for researchers, is looking at Prairie View and seeing what research they've done, or also to, do the scope a little bigger, look at other affiliations, look at Texas Southern, type in other different universities and look at who's collaborating and what articles they're writing and see if y'all could team teach and do an article as well. Okay, I know that I was supposed to give y'all the last 10 minutes to ask questions, but y'all know how Ms. Gay is. I get so excited and showing all this wonderful research and this wonderful information and putting it all together that y'all only got 2 minutes. Okay. So does anybody have any questions? I want to be mindful of your time, and if you want me to stay on longer because you got more time, let me know and I will stay on longer. But does anybody have any takeaways? Can I get somebody to talk and share something that they learned new today? Who would like to do that? And yes, I'm treating y'all like students. So y'all are students now. Don't make me call on y'all because I got your names. I can see all your names. Dr. McDonald, Dr. Burnett, Miss Moore. Can I get somebody to share with me what are some of the things that they learned today? Even if it was something that they've already known, but they see it in a different light. Can somebody share with me?
If no one shares, I'll share something that I learned.
Oh, please do.
So you previously, you had talked to us about Scopus and all that we can do in looking at what is happening here at Prairie View. And I guess sometimes when you hear things multiple times, you can kind of pick up other pieces. But you mentioned also that we can look at what's happening at other universities. For example, you mentioned Texas Southern University. So if someone's doing something and they are interested in partnering with someone at Texas Southern, at Purdue, anywhere, they can enter in Scopus and find out what's happening in a particular subject area.
Yes,
so
they
that's my
sure
takeaway.
can. Yeah, they sure can. If they've got research partners in other universities, they're able to take the time and look at what articles they've done and how to move their research. Okay, does anybody out there have anything else that they've learned?
I was not aware of Refworks, so I think I'm going to start playing around with it because it might make life in research a lot easier.
It will, Dr. Cintron. And Dr. Cintron, just let me know because I'm your liaison person and we can do a one-on-one Zoom session so I can really give you that full formula of how powerful Refworks can be for you.
Thank you. Another thing is that I might request the resource of plagiarism so that our online students do it and our doctoral students do it too.
Yes, Dr. Cintron, let's work. And if we want them to have it during the summer, we can be able to move that during the summer. Because you see, Dr. Cintron, it's a packed, only 1 hour session that goes through not only the academic integrity of Prairie View, but just academic in general, dealing in integrity for plagiarism issues.
Thank you. I will take advantage of that offer.
Excellent. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kimberly Gay. As always, great information, great energy. We love it. Thank you so much for the information that you shared with us today. As I mentioned at the beginning, there are many people who are preparing for summer research projects, and we hope that the information you shared today will be of support to our researchers. And thank you everyone for joining us today for our Research and Innovation Training Institute. We'll see you next time. Have a great day. Thank you.